MAUSD families. My name is Patrick Reen. I'm Superintendent for MAUSD. Labor Day weekend is just around the corner, and we're really excited to be welcoming students back into our buildings for in-person instruction. And we feel really good about our plan to keep them safe and healthy while they're in our schools. In today's reopening video, I'm going to be talking about new information around childcare, some new information about school meals. I also have some information about our student survey results that we talked a little bit about last week. I'm going to talk about a frequently asked questions document, the draft calendar, some transitions. I also have a few reminders about face coverings, about the health screener that we'll be asking families to complete, and about travel. As you may have heard in Governor Scott's press conference on Tuesday, the MAUSD Expanded Learning Program has been chosen as one of the hub childcare sites for the state of Vermont. A hub site is a school-age childcare site that operates full-day programming on remote learning days. What this means for you is that we're going to be able to offer childcare on Wednesdays now, starting next Wednesday at Camp Common Ground in Starksboro from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. A registration link has been sent to families, and we ask that you fill those registrations out promptly, again, because the Wednesday childcare starts next Wednesday, September 9th. We're really excited to announce that school meals will now be free for all students, regardless of their family's income, at least through December. We do expect this exciting news is going to have an impact on our participation rate, which means that we're going to have to make some changes to our menus and some of our processes for distributing that food. Because of that, we have to put a hold on sending out the menus that we had anticipated sending out. So we ask that you be patient with us, and hopefully we will be getting those menus out to families on Friday, September 4th. Free takeout meals can also be provided to students on remote learning days. We do expect to be able to send more information on how to sign up for those takeout meals also on Friday, September 4th. We recently surveyed elementary and secondary students to find out how they're feeling about returning to school next week. We had over 200 responses at the elementary school level and nearly 200 responses here at Mount Abe. Mount Abe advisors and elementary school classroom teachers will be looking at those responses, and that's going to be really helpful in knowing the kind of space that students are coming into school on when they return on Tuesday. The responses do reflect the normal back-to-school excitement and nervousness that we would see in a typical year, and there are some additional concerns that are related to COVID. Changes like wearing masks and needing to keep physical distancing were causing some additional concerns for students, which is expected. Students are excited to see friends, and they're excited to get back to a routine, have something to do, and play sports again, as they indicated in the survey. Excitement really was the major theme. It sounds like overwhelmingly students are ready to get back to school and are excited to get back to school. We are seeing some added concerns for students that are facing transitions into kindergarten, middle school, and of course, senior year. With orientation scheduled this week, we're hopeful that those orientations are going to help alleviate some of those concerns. And to the seniors out there, I want you to know that we're going to do everything we can to make sure your senior year is a special year for you. In an effort to address questions we've been getting from families, we've put together a frequently asked questions document. That document is going to be linked on our MAUSD website. We're going to send it out through social media and distribute it in other ways to make sure that families have access to this resource. We hope you find it helpful. In a recent video, I mentioned some changes that would be happening to our school calendar, and that until the legislature acts on the number of required student days, that we can't finalize that student calendar. In the meantime, I'm going to be sending out a draft calendar that assumes the legislature acts to reduce the required number of student days from 175 to 170. Once the legislature actually takes the action, we'll finalize the calendar and redistribute that finalized calendar. I want to take this chance to remind you about the health screener that we're going to be asking families to administer to their children each day before sending them to school. We are only going to ask that you administer this health screener to your children on the days they physically will be attending school, not on their remote learning days. The screener is going to be a fillable form that you can fill out from your mobile device, tablet, laptop, desktop, any device that you have. You'll be asked to enter your child's name and their temperature, and then you'll be asked a few questions about travel, close contact with those that are positive of COVID-19, and if your child passes the screener, they're all set to go to school. If they don't pass the screener, it's really important that they stay home and get healthy. Please remember that your child needs to be fever-free for 24 hours with no medication before you send them to school. I also want to remind you about face coverings. Proper face coverings are essential to protect against the spread of COVID-19, and not all face coverings are created equal. We're asking that you have face coverings that have at least 2 layers of tightly woven cotton or a poly cotton blend. If you're not able to send your child to school with a proper 2-layer face covering, then we'll be sure to supply them with the proper covering. Students will be able to remove their face coverings during the school day only when they're eating lunch or having a drink of water, and at certain times at recess if distancing can be maintained, and occasionally we'll give them a break, probably outside, to take a few minutes off from wearing their face masks. Otherwise, students and staff are going to be expected to have their face coverings on all day long. And lastly, just a reminder about travel. We recognize that families may need to travel, and we want to make sure that you have an understanding of what the rules are if you do have to travel. If a student or staff member travels outside of Vermont to a county that's identified as having greater than 400 confirmed positive cases per million for non-essential travel, those people are expected to quarantine for 14 days or quarantine for 7 days and receiving a negative COVID test. A doctor's appointment would be an example of essential travel that wouldn't require quarantine. Students who need to quarantine are encouraged to continue their learning remotely. Anyone who travels outside of Vermont by public transit, bus, train, plane, will also need to follow those quarantine rules. You can search for the Vermont COVID travel map, and it will tell you what counties have more than 400 cases per million, and that map is updated every Friday, so be sure to check it regularly. I hope this video provides a little more clarity as we anticipate welcoming students back to school on Tuesday, September 8th. You can find more information on our website, www.mausd.org. You can also email questions to covid.help@mausd.org. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend, and I'll be back next week with more information.